Every bar of soap begins with a simple promise. Clean. Not a feeling, not a scent, a result. But that result doesn't start with fragrance or packaging. It starts with chemistry, control, and repetition. Inside this facility, raw materials arrive quietly. Oils, fats, soap-based pellets. Nothing here looks like soap yet. Large stainless steel tanks wait as ingredients flow in through polished pipes. Liquids move steadily, guided by pumps that never rush and never guess. Temperature is the first thing that matters. Too cold and reactions stall. Too hot and structure breaks down. So heat is introduced slowly, carefully, monitored every second. Digital readings stabilize. Green lights confirm balance. Only then does the process move forward. An alkaline solution enters the system next. Measured precisely, not poured, injected. This is where transformation begins. Inside massive mixers, blades rotate through thickening material. What was liquid becomes paste. What was separate begins to unify. The motion is deliberate, folding, compressing. Steam rises under bright factory lights as chemistry takes hold. This isn't craft, it's control. Every variable is tracked. Temperature, pressure, viscosity. Nothing is left to intuition. Fragrance oils are added later, once the base is stable. Not for pleasure, but for consistency. Even scent must be repeatable. Color pigments follow, dispersing evenly through the mixture. Not to decorate, but to identify. Every shade must match the last batch exactly. Because soap isn't judged when it's used. It's judged when it's recognized. The mixture smooths into uniformity. Sensors confirm texture. Machines adjust automatically. This stage exists for one reason: to remove unpredictability. When the soap base exits the mixer, it does so slowly, steadily, forming continuous ribbons of material. These ribbons don't look impressive, but they are correct. Uniform density, consistent moisture, perfect temperature. They are cut into billets, identical lengths, identical weight. From here on, shape matters. Billets move into compression chambers where hydraulic presses take over. Pressure builds. Material yields. Soap is compressed into solid bars, dense and smooth. Branding is pressed into the surface with firm precision. Not stamped randomly, aligned exactly. Every logo must sit where it belongs. Fresh bars move along conveyors, still warm, still settling. They enter cooling tunnels where temperature drops gradually. Too fast and cracks form. Too slow and shape distorts. Cooling is timed. When the bars emerge, they are solid, stable, ready to be judged. Cameras inspect every surface. Edges, corners, finish. Anything imperfect is removed. Not because it's broken, but because it isn't identical. This factory doesn't chase perfection. It enforces sameness. Because when someone reaches for soap, they aren't looking for creativity. They're looking for reliability. They want the same bar they've trusted before. The same feel. The same result. That expectation is built here, long before packaging, long before shelves. It's built by removing chance from the process, by designing every step to behave the same way every time. And this is only the beginning, because making soap isn't just about forming a bar. It's about preparing it to travel, to survive handling, to remain unchanged until it reaches the hands it was made for. Everything that follows depends on what happens here. If this stage is right, everything else works. If it isn't, nothing matters. So the factory repeats, and confirms, and repeats again, quietly, relentlessly. Thumbs up if you're enjoying this deep look inside how everyday products are really made. Tap the like button. By the time the soap bars leave the cooling tunnels, they look finished. Smooth surfaces, clean edges, recognizable shape. But appearance alone isn't enough. Because soap isn't just something you see. It's something you touch, hold, and trust. This stage exists to protect that trust. As the bars move forward, alignment systems take over. Each bar is guided into exact position, spaced perfectly from the next. No overlap, no drift. Everything must arrive at the wrapping machines the same way. Packaging film feeds in from massive rolls, unspooling smoothly under controlled tension. Too tight and it tears, too loose and it wrinkles. So the film is guided, corrected, and stabilized continuously. Bars enter the wrapping zone one by one. In a single fluid motion, film folds around each bar. Edges meet, heat seals engage. The seal is instant, clean, permanent. This layer does more than protect the soap. It locks in moisture balance, preserves scent, prevents contamination. Every seal is checked. Cameras scan the edges for gaps or distortion. Sensors confirm heat levels and pressure. Anything that fails is removed immediately. No rework, no repair, because consistency isn't something you fix after the fact. It's something you enforce in the moment. Wrapped bars accelerate toward labeling and coding systems. Batch numbers print cleanly. Dates align perfectly. These markings aren't decoration. They're accountability. Every bar can be traced back to its origin. Its ingredients, its time, its conditions. This traceability is invisible to most people, but essential to the process. Now the bars move toward grouping. Multiple units align and slide gently into cartons. Cardboard folds around them with mechanical precision. Adhesive sets instantly. The carton becomes a boundary. Inside it, the soap is protected from light, impact, and pressure. But the carton also serves another purpose. It turns individual products into systems. Systems that can be counted, stacked, and moved efficiently. Cartons roll forward, forming clean rows that feed into palletizing zones. Robotic arms wait above. They don't rush. They don't hesitate. Each arm grips a carton and places it down in exact orientation. Corners align. Weight distributes evenly. This geometry matters. A pallet that isn't balanced here will fail later, during transport, during storage, or during handling. So balance is enforced before anything moves further. Once stacked, stretch film wraps around the pallet. Layer by layer, the tension is calculated. Too tight and cartons crush. Too loose and stability fails. The wrap holds everything together, but allows nothing to move. Inspection lights pass slowly over the finished pallet, looking for gaps, looking for misalignment. Only when everything matches the standard does the pallet advance. At this point, the soap has stopped changing. This form is locked. This protection is in place. What remains is movement. Movement through space, through systems designed to deliver sameness at scale. Forklifts glide through marked warehouse lanes, carrying thousands of bars at once. There's no urgency here, because urgency creates mistakes. This environment values predictability. At the loading dock, trucks wait quietly. Schedules are fixed. Routes planned. Dock levelers adjust automatically. Pallets slide forward on rollers. Inside the trailer, restraints engage. Nothing will shift. When the doors close, the factory releases control. But the process doesn't stop thinking. Because everything that happens next, on roads, in warehouses, on shelves, depends on what's been done here. This stage doesn't add value in an obvious way. It doesn't change the product, preserves it. And preservation is just as important as creation. Because when someone reaches for soap, they aren't thinking about factories. They're thinking about reliability. They want the same bar they've always trusted. And that trust is built long before the shelf. Right here, where nothing exciting happens, but everything important does. Bell if you want more calm. Behind-the-scenes factory stories like this, subscribe, more are coming. By the time the trucks leave the loading dock, the soap itself is already forgotten by the factory. Not because it isn't important, but because it has finished becoming what it needs to be. The process has moved on. Inside the facility, systems reset almost immediately. Conveyors slow. Counters return to zero. Machines prepare for the next cycle. Nothing pauses for reflection, because this place isn't designed to remember what it makes. It's designed to repeat it. After the last pallet leaves, cleaning begins. Not casually, not quickly, methodically. Residue is removed from mixers and extruders. Water jets sweep across stainless steel surfaces. Foam coats machines in thick, white layers before being rinsed away. This isn't maintenance. It's preparation, because the next batch must behave exactly like the last. Sensors confirm sanitation. Indicators turn green. Only then is the system considered ready. Raw material zones stand sealed and orderly. Ingredients wait in labeled containers, untouched, unchanged. The factory exists in a state of controlled readiness. It doesn't sleep. It waits. Every element is designed to reduce variation. Every step exists to remove uncertainty. Because soap isn't something people want to think about. They don't want surprises. They want something that works. The same way, every time. This factory understands that. That's why the most important work happens quietly. Not during production, but between cycles, where cleanliness is restored, where alignment is checked, where nothing is allowed to drift. When production resumes, it will look identical to before. The same movements, the same timings, the same results. This repetition isn't a flaw. It's the entire point. Because when something is done correctly enough times, it becomes invisible. It stops drawing attention to itself. And invisibility is the highest form of reliability. Somewhere, a bar of soap will be unwrapped without thought. It will feel familiar in the hand. It will smell exactly as expected. It will be used and replaced without ceremony. And that's success. Not because anyone noticed the factory, but because no one had to. The systems that made that bar possible did their job by disappearing. That's the quiet achievement of mass production. Not speed, not volume, consistency. Again, and again, and again. Every bar that leaves this place carries that promise. Not excitement, not innovation, dependability. And that is why this factory exists. To take raw materials and turn them into something people trust, without ever asking for credit. Speech Balloon, now tell me in the comments, what everyday product or factory should we go inside next?